Hi everyone. I realized I was going to start the OSL, Object Source Lighting. That's my acronym for it. And I was going to put the little snake thing on there, but then realized if I'm going to do the OSL on all of this, I need to get the base done. So since I want to show everything I do on camera, this is going to be a really quick slop of... Where is it? The muddy brown. And I tried to turn on the autofocus on the camera, so I'll apologize right away if this is out of focus, but I think it's going to do okay as long as I keep my hands out of the way, because it likes to focus on my hands rather than the mini. So typically I set it down like this and set the autofocus so it stays there, but today this may work. I actually took a vacation day from work just to paint. I've been so trying to paint, but yeah, just work's been sapping my creativity and eating me alive there, so I come home. Last thing I want to do is create anything. Yeah, I don't even think I wetted the brush. I just went straight into the muddy brown. I did mix it with a little bit of water, so that's why it's kind of working. And probably can't even see it on camera. I'm just getting in between his feet. Right there, it's a little hard to get into. And I picked muddy brown mainly because this is kind of a dark scene, and I want the focus to be up on the flames and such. So to do that, I'm just picking a dark color. I'm not even going to make it monotone. Or not monotone. I'm not even going to try shading it. And normally I'd make a little wash of black or dry brush it with some green to kind of put some life into it. But in this case, he's on a muddy road. In between the cane and his foot is a little spot I can't get. But one thing that will help with, since it's all monotone, is by putting the little snake guy thing, whatever that's going to be, whatever you decide to call it, we put it on there and have it glowing too. It'll add some focus to that. So, as soon as I wash the brush, one little cat hair, and it was all stuck there. Okay, so that's done, and I'm going to let that dry, and then we'll do some special effects on it. Alright, I'm back, and I did go ahead and super glue the little guy onto there. He was actually a lot larger than I thought he was going to be. But I'm going to mix this up on on video so you can see it. I just got the plain sunlight yellow. Let me put him away. I got me. It's going to bounce again. Stop bouncing. Have the little tray here. And I'm just going to start with one. One drop. I guess I need to clean the nozzle. And then we're going to mix this up like it is Kool-Aid. was going to count drops there, and I was up to 7, and then squirt, it all comes out. So that's not going to help. Let's mix that up right now. And I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to do a bit more. I almost want to, my technique, which, is still in the infantile stage, says to mix it up until it looks like Kool-Aid. I think we're getting there. Notice it runs down pretty easily. And so that is what I'm going to use to do the OSL. So let me get organized and I'll be right back and we'll start in on this. Okay, kind of get myself situated here now. And I got my Kool-Aid water here. I've got the autofocus turned off. And what did I crunch? I'm done. So, still something underneath there. Ah! Super glue on the back of the thing. And so I'm just going to paint, a layer, and it's just going to look like a little wet, and it's going to take a lot to do this. But I'll start doing a few layers, and then I'll stop the recording and do a few more, because it's just going to get repetitive, and I'll run out of things to say, and you'll just start hearing me whistle, and things like that. So, and I am using a smaller brush than what I'd normally use. And just kind of hitting everything that the light would hit. And I don't know how far back I want this to go. And I got his face, which is not something I wanted to get. Or at least not yet. And because the paint is so thin, or at least it should be, I'm not wiping off properly, that this is really going to be repetitive. I shouldn't put it down there. I don't think it'll hit there. So mostly just the top of the sleeve here, where I'm trying to get, not down there. And really probably should let this dry a little bit in between each one. And I'm going to get the top of the bowl a little bit just to try. Oh, that's what I can do. While I'm waiting for that to dry, we can do the snake. I'm just going to, it's filling in almost like a wash, which is not what I want it to do, but that's because you got your brush too wet, Darren. And so I think I'm just going to have to build this up slowly anyway. I might even put some up on his bootleg. Bootleg? His boot. Just to give that appearance of glowing there too. Okay. Load up again. So what I don't want is I don't want it falling into the folds of his cloak or whatever. So I think I'm going to have to be a little bit more directive of exactly where this all goes and just start touching the tops of where it needs to be. So I think from right there, is where I will stop this and make a cut. And we'll be back in a bit. And I'll count how many times I've actually done a repetitive stroke over everything so we can count, so you can, if you've never done this before and thinking, gee, I'm getting nowhere, I've done X number of layers, well, you can kind of compare and see just how many it's taken me. I believe I'm at 3 right there. So back in a bit. Okay, so here we have a result of 20 layers. Mark that one down, doing little tick marks, tally marks. And I don't like it. I think I got the paint a little too thin because I've got tide marks and it's powdery. Could also be too that it's yellow over purple, which is contrasting colors, so there may not be a lot that would have worked anyway. I'm thinking maybe if I started out with white and then put the yellow on top of it, it would have worked a little bit better, but I'm going to continue with what I've got. Maybe it'll look better once everything's done. Doubt it. But for now, what I'm going to do is half the distance from the flames to where I'm putting the color on. And if those tide marks show up well in the video, I'm going to just call it Magical Aura Waves. And we'll just dismiss that as tabletop folly. The snake-like creature, it did a lot better, but I think that's because yellow over brown, brown's just dark orange. It wasn't until getting into this hobby that I actually realized that when someone mentioned it. It's like, oh, yeah, I guess it is. Wow. But anyway, so I'm going to continue, and that took roughly 30 minutes with a couple breaks in between because it wasn't drying. I'd walk away for a little bit, come back. Had to add more water to my paint, but anyway, there's 30 minutes worth of work, and we're going to keep going. Okay. Here is another 20 layers, and I only did like right there and up, and I can't tell jack squat that I did anything on it. Very disappointed, but I thought I might go ahead and do another 20, and it took me about 20 minutes to do all 20 layers. Took longer than that in real time, but you had to let it dry a little bit. But since I can't tell really anything there, I'm just going to let that be. I'm going to call this figure done. I'll go ahead and seal it and all that stuff. Or do I have some more plans for him? Oh no, it's all stuck together. And that was the wrong sheet. I keep all my pieces of paper together. And hair staff. And I think I'm just going for basic tabletop on this guy. Yeah. Looks like it's rubbed off a little bit there. But he's a good little throw-in character. He's done. Did like the snake area. Put that up there, but good practice. Throwaway piece. Well, not throwaway. He'll go in the display cabinet regardless, but just kind of a fun little thing to do. And I think this will be the last video on him. And so I'll probably start in on some Bones miniatures next. And hadn't quite figured out what I really want to do on them, or which one I want to do next. So anyway, talk to you later. Bye.